Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Invitation to a Conversation. We I added, since this is Black History Month, I thought about how a lot of people are shutting down Black history in schools, throughout the stores. So I added a segment to Invitation to Conversation called Stories from People Like Us. So these stories will not end after Black History Month. They will continue through the year because we as Black people, we make history every day through inventions, creations, just ordinary people doing things every day. All right, so let's get started. And our guest today is Rachael Bailey. She's a vegan chef as well as a vegan caterer. Good morning, Miss Bailey. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Glad to have you on this morning.
Yes, it is such a blessing. I'm so excited. This is my first interview, so I want to make sure that I'm very thorough and true with what I'm trying to be transparent about. So I'm very excited.
Well, I'm glad that this is your first interview and you're having it on Invitation to a Conversation, introducing you to people who don't already know about you or
Of
your
course.
catering business. So tell
Okay.
everyone, who is Rachael Bailey?
Well, I am foremost a mother and a wife, and I take that role very serious. But another part of me would say that I am just a person trying to do my duty that Allah has called on me. Other than that, I am just a human being within the life trying to live.
What was being a chef your first career choice?
No, actually, it wasn't. I actually went to my first time going to school. I actually went to school for secondary education to teach high school. And I got very far in that, and I came home and started teaching at a local elementary school, and I very much enjoyed it. Enjoyed the impact that I had on the students, enjoyed my peers as far as my coworkers, and I enjoyed my administration as well, but I did not enjoy the system that it was penetrating amongst our youth's mind and just the box that it was putting them in, and I wanted to find another way to help the youth and infiltrate a better system so that they can feel heard and not excused. So no, it was not my first career. It's not something that I wanted to do, but it was something that I feel like I was called to do. My
Hmm.
mom is a very beautiful cook, and she taught me a lot about just the essence of cooking and how much it is just a I say a tool just for bringing everyone together, but more so my grandmother on my father's side was a caterer, and that's where we get the generational cooking from. She was an exceptional, as well as her sisters, and even her sister now is my in-house baker, and she baking specialist, and she is phenomenal. Very professional, and through those ladies, I was able to really understand and learn what it is to be an entrepreneur, but serve your community first. So it was not my first, but it is my true calling.
Well, don't give up the teaching
I
because one
know.
day you might be teaching others the history of vegan meals and why some people go vegan.
Yeah,
So you never give up that first choice.
yeah.
What took place for you to realize the importance of healthy eating?
Well, I first stopped eating meat myself well, let me specify. I first stopped eating beef, pork, and chicken. I still eat seafood, but I first stopped eating that in 2018 once I watched the documentary on Netflix, What the Health. It is a very thorough documentary. It explains all that the food industry is impacted as far as our health, our mental health, our physical health, our spirituality. And from that day, the next day, I stopped eating. So I'm like maybe, 2018, I'm 7 years in. And that impact kind of started where I said, during COVID, everything was shut down. We didn't have anything to eat. And I just started, offering the community, $10 plates of just seafood that I was able to find through local vendors that were still open during that time. And it was a phenomenal. My first day, I quote this number all the time. I made $738 my first day, and I was floored. I was just like, wow, because at that time, COVID has shut down everything. It is, survival instinct at its finest. So I was very, very appreciative. And my husband is very much a investor in my dreams, and he supports me full heartedly. And he was able, because he is a businessman, he was able to see like this is a need. This is a need that the community needs and wants. So we were able to just to start selling plates to our local community, no more than $10, $15, but I did it every day. And because I created that consistency, a customer of mine trusted me to do a catering, and I did it, and I was able to be successful, and more people wanted to. So I said, well, instead of me offering daily plates, I want to be able to offer this on a mass scale so that people understand that you can eat very well without having to, indulge in such a minute menu. And
Mm-hmm.
then another key factor for me was How to Eat to Live
Mm-hmm.
by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He was very thorough on, even when he wrote the book, on what to eat as melanin based people. And even if you're not melanin based, no offense, it is just that our genetic molecule is very much different when ingesting certain diets. And that was something that I wanted my community to know, because so many people are suffering from just minute diseases that turn into such devastating diseases that affect you, your family, your community. And I feel like we have a better way of living if there's someone that can communicate that.
It's so many ways of eating healthy or eating very varieties of food. And so I think vegan eating has to be part of one of the things we offer in the market. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, about maybe back in the early 90s, my sister and my brother-in-law opened a vegan restaurant in
What?
Brunswick. Yes, and then people didn't know anything about vegan restaurants and everything. And so it didn't last because that wasn't something that was normal in our community in
And
the
that's
back.
another thing that
Yeah.
I take serious, because I feel like people such as your sister and your brother-in-law are pioneers, and
Hmm.
that just because of their prayers and their essence is the reason why I have an opportunity today. Because people remember things like that, but they just don't remember how to go about it. So I'm glad that that was an offer into the community. That was
Yes.
great.
And so that's and I don't know why my allergies, I'm just itching up there. So anyway, I was a vegan back in the 90s with my sister, and then I got off of it. But recently I've started again because, as you said, I'm stuck on YouTube. I like to watch a lot of informative podcasts and things like that.
Of course.
And all the talk around our meat being made in our foods and our meats being made in labs, that just disgusts me. And so to eat that, I don't know. I can't trust where it comes from. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And
I
to
totally
buy
understand.
fruits and vegetables, not seeing any seeds in it, knowing that the seeds has to come from the ground and not in the lab. So that's why I changed my diet again.
That's a
But
blessing.
so tell me, during COVID, before we get into that in our conversation, what kind of meals did you introduce to the community? And did they ask, were you going to serve red meat or pork, or you just offered them seafood and you told them this was your style of cooking?
I'm sorry, did my My internet went out. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna ask that question again. So, what kind of meals were you serving the community, and did any of the customers ask you were you going to serve meat? And and did you tell them you were introducing a different type of food to them?
Well, yes, even now, I would consider my business a pescatarian based catering company. I do offer vegan options, but it was one of those things where they were like, you don't have no beef, you don't have no pork, you have no pork chop. Because at that time I was selling um basically like shrimp boil plates. I had potatoes, corn, broccoli, and shrimp. And only thing I'm missing is sausage.
Right.
So or a neck bone. And
Right.
people are like, what are we doing? But the more I was just like, hey, I'm not doing beef or pork. Just bear with me. I'm not doing beef or pork. But I
Right.
had to take my craft very serious. I had to learn. I had to take all of the advice. And I at that point it was my cousin Cedric Pearson that was very, very intimate on just teaching me technique, on teaching me just having confidence in myself to experiment with different spices. And it was a hit. I was able to just use those, and people were starting to see like, okay, after I eat your food, I don't feel this way, I don't feel that way, in a
Right.
negative way. So they were able to trust the process, and now I have a full rolodex of clientele that are just waiting to have that opportunity to have the culinary experience again.
Right. Okay. Um, what are the hidden dangers due to the lack of knowledge and resources?
What are some of my hidden, I'm sorry.
Yes, you spoke in your bio about the hidden dangers due to the lack of knowledge and resources. Yes.
Yes, so I feel like on the mass scale, we don't know what the animal goes through before slaughter, the horrible conditions that they're in, the horrible antibiotics or just vaccinations that they're constantly being pumped with, that then turns into infiltrated hormones that affect our reproductive system, that affect our high blood pressure, just a lot of different ailments that our body doesn't have to go through unnecessarily. So I feel like the hidden dangers, and now we're starting to see a shift in that due to our administration, but there are a lot of preservatives that prevent our black children from being able to be extraordinary in the classroom. And I think that is what ties back into my educational field, being able to see that firsthand, that takis and ham sandwiches and milk does not go together. Those aren't those aren't
Right.
components that combine within our genetic molecule, especially within just our gut health. It's just not healthy for us. And a lot of parents want to do right, but they don't know how. They don't know how feasible it is just to use your whatever resources that are available for you within your household to go and pick meals that are just as texturized for your child, because a lot of our kids are texture based at a certain age. They want
Mm-hmm.
something crispy, they want something hand based, and I just want our people to know that. And I feel like the mass media marketing, it doesn't promote that. A lot of dyes are just based on children's products and children's foods. And our parents didn't know that because we didn't face it during my generation. But in today's time, our kids are falling behind due to nutritional
Mm-hmm.
um, well being.
Mm-hmm. So, how did you handle the disruption of COVID-19 and the decision to start a home garden?
Well, honestly, I was bored. If I may be honest, I was just bored and I wanted to get outside. I wanted to feel more connected because at that time, I am of the social media area, but it wasn't anything to do. It wasn't anything to do within my peers. So me and my cousin and my husband, we got outside and we were able to do what we thought we were. It was a very beautiful garden, but it was overcrowded. It was huge. It was berries and squash and cucumber, tomatoes everywhere. That was our first garden. And it really allowed our community and our peers to see like, oh, this is something that I can do. This is something that our grandparents did and it just stayed in that generation. This is something that I can do. And I kind of became known for gardening and using those vegetables and fruits within the same plates that I'm selling. And people appreciated that. We want to eat healthy as a whole. We just don't know how, and that is what I'm trying to teach within my culinary experiences.
Hmm. Did you garden from the ground or container gardening, or
Oh
did
no,
you
we
do both?
tilled. We got the tiller out. We tilled. We hoed. We sifted. We fertilized. We watered. It was a lot. My daughter was included. It was a beautiful summer. We were able to. We still have some of the vegetables now. We still have a lot of the vegetables that we planted.
Hold on, she'll be back. Sometimes we have these interruptions. You
I
back?
apologize.
Okay. Yeah.
I do not
So,
know what's going on with my. I'm sitting right next to my Wi-Fi, so I do apologize.
so the question was asked: are you doing it from the ground, or you doing containers, or you doing both?
Yes, we actually had the opportunity to fertilize and I mean to till our garden and our ground using the tiller, using the hoe. We fertilized. We got out the ruler. We got everything cubic metrics wise. It was fulfilling. It was very hard. It was hard labor. It was hot. It was a lot to maintain it, but it was nice. We actually still have some of the vegetables canned still, so we don't use it as often. I use it within my personal kitchen, but yeah, it was very nice.
Okay. What was the process of start? Right. So tell us more about the process of starting your home garden. How did you think about it? How did you start the journey of home garden? And what's the first thing you did?
Well, the first thing that we did was try to find the tools. My cousin Cedric, he's very familiar with gardening. Everywhere that he has gone, he has always had a garden, whether he has tilled it with the tiller using the actual land or whether he just has a pot plant garden. But he really taught me how to take my time because timing and season is everything, and that is something that my mentor Guy Harris taught me as well later on after starting my first garden. Timing and season is everything. You got to know what you want and what you need and what's in season. What's your zone? What is
Mm-hmm.
your planting zone? Let me be more specific. What is your planting zone? Things of that. You have to do your research prior to planting because at the end of the day, I like to say that plants have a personality of their own. They're not going to grow, in 105 weather. It's just not going to happen. You have to be very patient with them. You have to know the aesthetic that they need to survive. And that's what we did. We did our research and then we went to our local nursery, plant nursery here, and bought a plethora of plants. And that's another thing. I stay in Ware County. Ware County is the biggest county east of the Mississippi River. We are engulfed in agriculture. Everything about Ware County is agriculture. We have several plant nurseries. We have some of the biggest blueberry not plantations, excuse me, plant farms here in the United States, and they ship worldwide. We have a lot of agriculture here, and I'm able to connect with those farmers and growers and homesteaders, and they have taught me quite a bit. And just using that knowledge during COVID and everybody just being transparent and neighborly as possible, we were able to, do it sufficiently and efficiently.
For those who don't know where Ware County is, tell them the city of Ware,
Oh, we are
within Ware County.
Waycross, Georgia.
Okay.
We are maybe like an hour north of Jacksonville and 2 hours southwest of Savannah. We're in a little hub, but we are a great town.
The home of Senator Warnock.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, we have
yes.
quite a few influential people that have made their way from Waycross.
Mm-hmm. What was the first thing you planted in your garden, and what was that feeling like when you seen it start to grow?
The first thing that I vividly remember blooming was our summer yellow squash. It is a very beautiful plant. And even you can use the flowers that are blooming, those are edible. You can use them in your, you can just, take them right off the stalk and eat them, or if you can put them in your soups or teas or rice. They're a beautiful plant, and that was the first thing that we vividly remember seeing, because they grow big before they start sprouting the actual fruit of the plant. But they have beautiful blooms, and that's what I vividly remember planting and seeing first.
Okay. What decided you to sell your meals? How was that conversation or that thought to sell it to your community during COVID?
Honestly, it was not my idea. It was my husband's. I had horrid anxiety because I'm just like, oh my gosh, why would someone want to eat from me? Like, they don't even know me. But my mom
Right,
is known for doing that. My mom and my grandmother on my father's side, they are known for, like, selling wings or selling plates, selling cakes, or
right.
doing catering, just on a unofficial scale. But it was my husband. I was very
That's
timid. And he was like, just put it on Facebook, just post it. And I was like, okay. And I did it. And everybody was like, where you at? Where you at? I want one. I want one. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay, that sounds good. What was you said you started selling the bowls with the broccoli and the shrimps and the potatoes. Okay. You said how long you have been a vegan. Okay. Were you a vegan prior to starting your business?
So yes, that's what I was saying. I wouldn't consider myself a vegan. I would consider myself a pescatarian, only because I still do eat fish. I don't eat shellfish or the crab or shrimp, but I still eat, whatever fish is available. But yeah, I did start it prior to my business, maybe like 2 years prior to my business being official. I was eating, you know what? I did, I did do a year vegan. I did a year vegan, and I was hungry
Right.
because I didn't
Right.
know how to cook. I wasn't as influent in, how that process went. So I ended up finding, seafood aesthetic. I appreciated it.
Okay. Okay. So, how many people in your family did you turn them vegan, or were they vegan prior to you becoming a
Oh
vegan
wow.
status?
So I wouldn't, like I say, I would say that well, my husband stopped eating the same day that I did, and my daughter, um, she's never had beef or pork. She does eat chicken, but she's never had beef or pork, and she's 8 years old. My mom stopped eating, and she was one of, like, the first people I seen where it could truly affect you positively. She had suffered with type 1 diabetes for almost 24 years prior to doing that diet. She did the diet extensively, to the T, and for 30 days, and she no longer needed her insulin.
Mm,
Her doctors were questioning her, asking her what was she doing. She has fibromyalgia, and she suffers with a lot of chronic issues. And during that period when she was on that diet, she was able to heal herself. She no longer had inflammation from the inside. She was able to have clearer skin. She was able to move more agile, but she wasn't able to consistently keep the diet, because it is a diet that is more expensive and it takes a little bit more time. It's not as convenient. You can't go everywhere and get a salmon burger, or you can't go everywhere and get blackened shrimp. So she does now eat chicken. She doesn't eat beef or pork. And she still has the conveniences of what the diet has done for her initially. She's doing great. And I'm so happy to see a lot of my peers just realizing the effect that pork has. A lot of my friends have stopped eating it. A lot of my family members have. And I grew up in a family that is Islamic, so we don't eat pork as it is.
mm-mm,
But when I was growing up with my mom's side, her side does eat pork. So I did have the opportunities to eat it when I could. But for overall, my family and my friends have done such a phenomenal job at just accepting, true health and trying to incorporate that within their culinary experiences.
hmm It takes a lot to eat healthy.
It does. It is.
First, when I first started out, it was expensive, but when you get used to it,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to do what you need to do to survive. But a lot of people are meat eaters, and it's
Yeah.
hard for them to give up that meat. But it was kind of easier for me because um I wasn't raised up on pork, and I didn't get a taste of it until you get old enough, leave the home, and you
Mm-hmm.
start visiting other people's home, and you smell that food or that meat, and you
Mm-hmm.
want to taste it. And so the other thing that helped me was later on in life, where I'm at now, is by faith. When we fast, you can't eat that meat and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I love being a vegan. But so you said a pescatarian,
Pescatarian, yes.
pest pescatarian,
Pescatarian. So I
a
just eat seafood.
pescatarian.
Yes.
Yes, a pescatarian. That doesn't include shellfish because I do eat shrimps and
Oh, it does.
lobsters. Okay,
It does. I just have a preference. It's just a texture thing that I have.
okay,
I when I can't eat crab or shrimp that I feel like fits the texture preference that or texture profile that I'm after, then I will indulge. But I just personally don't cook it at my home.
right. And I heard that a lot of people don't like mushrooms or green peppers because of the texture of it.
Hmm.
But in the vegan world, there's certain mushrooms that they use that I'm looking for, that they use for meat in place
Yep.
of meat, a certain type of mushroom. Yes. So let's talk about your catering business. Tell me how just tell me about your catering business, how it operates.
So I am actually just a chef. Um,
Okay.
I co-own the business with my husband. He is the owner, and then we have a business operator, which is my cousin Cedric Pearson, and he handles a lot of all of our, internal affairs and any of our rentals, anything that we have to do that's clerical. He does that. I just have the privilege of just coming in and executing the culinary experience as far as cooking.
Right. But you said
We
you just a chef, but you're not just a chef because
I
they're
am the
coming.
chef.
I understand that, but you're saying like that what they do is bigger than what I do. But they're coming to eat your food. They're
Yes.
handling the money and the social media
Yes.
stuff. But
Yes.
you are the face. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
I
don't
am.
say I'm
But
just a chef.
I like to be as humble and appreciative as possible and give them their flowers because honestly, without them, I don't have the convenience of being able to cook the way that I do.
Right.
So
That's
I
true.
I do want to, be as honest about that as possible. But yes, I am the chef and I have had the opportunity to travel and meet some of the
Hmm.
best people. We work hand in hand with the National Center for Appropriate Technology, which is NCAT. They work with several universities, they work with several farmers, homesteaders, and they are a company that comes and does soil conservation, teaches you how to use the natural environment to better endure for whatever storms or whatever natural pesticides you have, and just using whatever nature has for us to better, make money. And we work with FAMU. We work with a lot of just different organizations that have trusted us with their culinary experiences. And I really enjoy being a mobile caterer. And I feel like having that opportunity has opened so many doors where we've seen so many different businesses trust us to give that knowledge and not afraid of it, not taking offense to what we're saying, but just truly saying, like, I want the best for my employees and I want the best for my guests.
Hmm. And so, what are your hours? How far do you travel? And what's the name of your catering business? I see it on your shirt, but it's
So actually,
covered.
this is my school jacket. I am currently in vegan school, well, culinary school for vegan. Um, I'm currently in culinary school for vegan cuisine. There it is,
Okay.
and I go to a Escoffier, and I'm learning quite a bit to add to my menu. But my business is Dooney's Factory Catering Company and Catering, and we are a company that specializes in pescatarian based catering, but it's named after my late father. Um, he passed in 2009, and I was his only child. So I try to do whatever I can to uplift his name and, show the world what he had instilled in me and the values that he's instilled in me, and the concept of entrepreneurship is very serious with what he has taught me. So I'm trying my best to uphold that and, convey that through my cooking.
So so out of your garden, do you start from seeds, and do you regrow from what you grew?
Well, yes, I do. I am, I wouldn't say, I try to use, I collect scraps. I use everything. Nothing goes to waste in my kitchen.
Right.
I wouldn't say that I'm zero waste, but I'm almost there. I do recycle my seeds. I do save my seeds. And I feel like that is something that is very important in today's time. We have to save our seeds, especially heirloom seeds. If you have original seeds, those are seeds that you should prioritize in saving and, making sure that you pull from whenever you are harvesting whatever fruit or vegetable. But yes, I do recycle seeds. I recycle my scraps. I save my fruit scraps or my vegetable scraps, and I make vegetable broth. I may make some seasonings. It is a total experiment over here, and I take it very serious just because I want to be able to say that I firsthand did these things before I'm able to explain it to my customer. Because it's almost like a small seminar whenever I am offering our culinary experiences to our guests. They want to know how or where, because we've built the name of just growing our own, and they want to know, like, where did this come from, or how did you get this, or where's this vendor from? And because we are so close knit with all of our vendors and farmers and everything, we're able to tell you exactly usually where it comes from, and that's a blessing.
Can you explain soil quality and seed sowing?
Yeah, so soil quality is very important. And it wasn't until George Washington Carver actually taught several government officials how to conserve soil, and that was through peanuts. It is a crop that is able to regenerate the necessities that the soil needs. So soil conservation is very serious, and sowing the seeds is just as serious. Without proper moisture and proper fertilization and vitamin additives, it's very hard for your seed to catch root, and that's the most important. Once it catch root, you just have to let Allah do his job, and he will, whether it's rain, sun, and shine. And as long as and that's another thing, you have to plant for the animals. You have to make sure you do your part. The animals are going to eat regardless. So if you are looking to plant you a garden, go ahead and plant some to the side for your local rabbits, deers, and squirrels, because they are going to eat, and there's nothing that you can do about it as long as you get mad. You just have to accept. So you have to go ahead. So when you
Give them
sow
their own
those seeds,
section.
yeah, give them their own section because they are definitely coming to eat.
Um, what was your most awarding experience through this vegan experience?
Oh, when I met my mentor, Guy Harris, that was my most awarding. Mr. Guy is so rich in people, and he was able to show us so many different farmers that we had no idea about that is right here. He showed us so many um, tools to use to navigate to get the resources that the government will give us. In a sense, you can go get your 40 acres and a mule. You just have to know how. And that's what he taught us. He taught us how to use the resources that we have to access so that our community can benefit. We were able to plant 3 plots of land maybe like 2 summers ago, and it was beautiful. We had maybe over 2,000 plants
Mm.
planted at one time from
What did
every.
you? What did you? Excuse me. What did you say the guy's name was?
His name is Guy Harris, and he is from Waycross, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And we had over like 2,000 plants planted, and the community loved it. Like, people were stopping by, like, "Oh my gosh, how old are y'all?" It was so fulfilling to see our elders just light up when they see young people. And as our mentor calls us, he calls us young backs. See young backs down there, picking okra, because it's not an easy job. It is something that you totally have to have respect for, and you have to have a passion for. So I respect our Hispanic brothers and our Hispanic sisters that get out every day and that harvest the vegetables and fruit for us to have locally within our markets. It is a very strenuous job, but it was the most rewarding. We had different family members, my mom, cousins, everyone that wanted to be involved had an opportunity to be involved, and we needed them. We needed all hands on deck. We were able to harvest beautifully, serve so many people in the community, and that is what catapulted my catering business. People were able to see where their food was coming from, and they were able to know the person that was cooking it, and that is such a personal experience. And people want that when they're eating, because eating is necessity and it's a culture within our society. We have
Yes,
to do it. We do it everywhere we go. And now that we're more conscious because we have the opportunity to be exposed to more knowledge, we want to do it in the most correct way. We don't want to go
yes,
like our old ancestors did. We want to live longer because that is our purpose. Our purpose is to live.
yes, yes, definitely. What is your best-selling vegan meal?
I would have to say my purple root potato souffle. So there is a sweet potato that is purple,
Mm-hmm.
and it is delicious. It is tastes just like the red root sweet potato, but it is just aesthetically beautiful, and everyone loves that. It's a treat to just see something purple and eat it, and it tastes just like a regular sweet potato. So that is my most sought after vegan
I
item.
I introduced my family to a meal with purple potatoes, and they made fun of me, but it was the best.
No.
Yes, young folk. Yes, yes, and my daughters, they made fun of me. They were like, "Purple potatoes, what is this?" And I'm like, "Wow!" But because that's the like you said, um, so I once a year I have New Year's brunch with my family. And so
Okay.
sometimes I introduce them to healthy eating like I eat. And
Hmm.
if it's something unfamiliar to them, oh, they will clown me. So
Yes.
the purple potato was one of them. And so the first time I had it, I made potato salad out of
Uh-huh.
them. And that was good. But those purple potatoes, when I find them, when I see them, I get them.
Yes.
They
Yes.
taste good. They taste good. What is your mission and goal for your vegan catering business?
My mission and goal is just to teach and infiltrate whatever community is in need of help. There is a thing such as nutritional poverty. There is a such thing as that. And our community, our Black community, our Milanan based community faces that because we were shooed away from farming. We were shooed away from that strictly off the basis of slavery. So we don't even have a general concept of healthy eating without adding pork or beef to it.
Right.
So when I'm able to, bring purple cabbage or green cabbage and dice it and saute it and give it to my peers or my guests, it is very fulfilling for them because it's like, oh, this is good. I didn't even know this. You could buy purple cabbage, or I be seeing this in
Mm.
there, and it's they want to, they just don't know. They don't have the ignite to go ahead and the ignition that I give them is very self-fulfilling, and that's what I want to do. I want to continue to teach. I do have a passion for cooking and I do it often, but without the knowledge that comes with the teaching, I feel like it's in vain.
And if you would look at the same, like take Winn Dixie, for instance.
Mhm.
Winn Dixie is well known in Georgia and Florida. I don't know if it's South Carolina going north. But if you go to different neighborhoods where there's a Winn-Dixie market, you will see different produce based on the neighborhood they're in. So if they don't see the purple cabbage or they don't see the purple potatoes, they have to go into the higher, different economic level because they're different foods in the same supermarket.
It
You
is.
don't see those things in the black neighborhood. You know what
You
I'm
don't-
saying?
And
And
it's
that's
extremely sad.
yes. And when years ago when I was a cashier and I shopped to the Winn Dixie on the island, I used to ask those women in the produce area when they picked up fruits and vegetables, what is this and how do you cook it? You know what I'm saying? And that's how I learned. And I
Mhm.
love that way of eating. When you started your vegan business, did you know of any customers who weren't vegans during COVID, but because of what you're serving, they are now vegans?
I can say that they're not vegan, but they have given up pork or beef. They only eat fish. It's a very close friend of mine. We model together. And she's also gotten into gardening because of just the difference it's made in my life economically. A lot of things that I just don't have to purchase because I can just go in my backyard and just have it. And even with her having that knowledge, it's taught me because because of that ignition that I've taught her with the knowledge, she's taught me a lot in return just on how to, do certain mixtures of fruit, certain mixtures of spices. So because I've taught, I'm being taught as well.
Hmm. And as we get older, we have to understand that these fast food restaurants are not serving healthy foods, but it's quick. They're expensive because they're making it and you're not.
Hmm.
Because and when you start going to the doctors frequently, they're going to tell you to get off that processed food, like lunch meats in the stores, cheese, all that's processed food. And as you said earlier in this conversation, if they turn on YouTube, they'll see what they're doing with our food. Even with our seafood,
Hmm.
I asked them, was this shrimp farm raised or is it wild caught? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Because there's a difference. There's a difference. What advice do you have for people? This is our last question. What advice do you have for people who are considering being a vegan, but it's hard for them to give up meat?
I would say the first thing to do is to pray. Um, I'm a very spiritual person in regards to eating because that is the nutrition that your mind has to interpret. There is life within your fruit. There's life within your vegetables. And when you ingest it properly, it gives you life. So my biggest um I guess my biggest thing would be to be transparent about everyone just knowing that you have to detox yourself. And with
Mm-hmm.
detoxing yourself prior to even accepting the diet, you have to become aligned with something spiritually within yourself. Because if you're truly going to make a difference, that is the only way to make a difference is to first be aligned. Once you're aligned and you find the diet that benefits you, because some people need a certain amount of protein. So there's no
Mm-hmm.
opposition to chicken, there's no opposition to fish. But
Right.
let's make sure that that fish isn't more than 50 pounds because now we're starting to get into something like you can eat anything. We can eat horse, we can eat cow, we can eat beetles, we can eat anything that we want to eat. But let's look into how that affects us genetically, mentally, physically, spiritually. And once we start dissecting what affects you personally, then it's like you can feel confident in knowing that there's information out there that could better help you in that diet. So, first is to align yourself and pray, detox yourself right after and find a diet that benefits you financially and that benefits you, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And you'll notice that once you start on that journey, gardening is essential. you
Mm-hmm.
you find that, hey, I'm not really finding the consistency within the peppers or the green beans. You start saying like, I can get a 5-gallon bucket and grow a family's worth of cabbage just
Mm-hmm.
off that 1.5. And that's what you have to be intuitive and really be meaningful about the journey. It is very serious, and the reason why that it is not emphasized in our society is because that is the way to live. That if you want to live to be 100 years old, feed yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's there's a diet lifestyle where if you go by your blood type, which I did me,
Yes.
I'm not supposed to eat chicken. It's
Yep.
not in my blood type. And
Hmm.
so that's one of the things that I'm glad about that I yes, listen to. Well, thank you. Miss Bailey, when are you gonna do a YouTube channel and teach us some cooking of how to vegan cook and some of the meals that you have put together? I'm waiting on that YouTube channel.
Yes, you are not the first, and I'm sure you won't be the last. A lot of people just want me to, be more transparent about the knowledge that I know, and I am going to get there. I will not deny that calling. I will not deny
Okay.
that calling. I just have to face a lot of other different things within my process, and I promise I will get there.
And so the next time you come on, I want to be on your vegan truck or near it and taste one of your meals. So while we conversating, I can tell the people honestly, because I love that cooking.
Yes. Well, I want to be honest. So I don't have a food truck. What my
Hmm.
catering company does, you contact us, you let us know where your event is located, how many people, what is your preferred menu, and I come to you. I bring the kitchen to you, whether I bring a fryer, whether I bring a grill, anything that is needed to fulfill your menu. Me and my staff, we come to you and we bring the entire experience, whether it is from virgin mimosas to a shrimp boil to an intimate gathering with just you and your friends. We can fulfill it all. So that is the meaning of my mobile catering company. We do not have a food truck. And though that is something that has been recommended to us, we really enjoy bringing that experience to people's homes, to people's event center. We want to be able to come to you and it feels like we're part of your family. That's the aesthetic that we give.
That you don't have to worry about a truck bill, repairing the truck, getting
Yes,
it
less
done. And
overhead.
so that's right. So keep your inventory low and do the experience that you're doing. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love that eating type of eating. Well, thank you, Miss Bailey. When you decide to do your YouTube channel, come back on and share
Yeah.
that experience and or either come here and do a meal and we can
Oh,
show it.
that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yes. Okay. Do a meal here and we can have a conversation while we're at the table eating it and you bring all those
Yay.
fresh fruits and vegetables.
Yes, you let
Okay.
me know a date and I would love to.
Okay. All right. I will it'll be this summer.
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Miss Bell. Our namesakes. Our name.
Yes, yes. Bailey and Bailey.
That's right. Nice to meet you. You take care. Tell people your telephone number. I think you haven't
Yes.
done it yet.
So my contact information is 912-548-2661. And you also can follow me on Facebook as Rachael Bailey. You'll see me in my beautiful black chef jacket and or Dooney's Factory. DUNNIESFACTORY, and that is my tag on Instagram. So you guys are more than welcome to follow me and contact me for whatever culinary experiences that you are in need of.
Okay. Stand by, Miss Bailey, while I end the show. And until the next time, my invitation to a conversation community, you have a blessed Black History Month and you stay safe this weekend. Have a blessed one. Bye bye.
Thank you.